This is episode 76 of Pinnacle FC. Gareth Wheeler, Jake Osgathorpe with you. We're in the final match day of the league phase of the Champions League. 18 matches of football played simultaneously. It's going to be chaos. All but four teams have something to play for. And us, as bettors, as people that are looking at the markets, there's plenty to go through as well. Jake, we've reached this point. This is a wild table. As I mentioned, only four teams are playing for nothing. There are, I believe, 13 teams on 13 points or more. And you can make the argument all the way down to 15th place Juventus have a chance of finishing in the top eight. Why does that matter? The top eight sides end up getting a bye through the next phase of the competition, some well-deserved and well-earned rest. And there are only two teams that have already punched their ticket to getting that bye through the next round of the competition. That is Arsenal and Bayern Munich. And it could be chaos in terms of the teams that finish between 9th and 24, which play a home and away tie, as there are plenty of teams in contention. The table can just be madness. The live table come Wednesday when all these games are going to be played. I'm right up for this. I've heard critics of this Champions League format, but I think that by virtue of the table and what we're looking at right now, it's just rewards for showing some innovation and trying to do things a different way.
100%, yeah. And you get this big crescendo where, yeah, like you said, you've got 32 teams that have still got something to play for, that have still got a chance of either finishing that top eight and avoiding a two-legged playoff, or finishing in that playoff. But even so, like there is an advantage to finishing in the top half of that playoff draw, and you get to play the home tie in the second leg, so you get to a little bonus there if you finish between 9th and 16th. So there's an awful lot to play for, even if it's just seeding, because. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of an age-old thing, isn't it? That everyone wants to play the second leg at home. They want to know what they've got to do in front of their own fans to get a great chance, and I think that plays into it. And ultimately, generally, I mean, we've only had 1 year of this, but there's so many goals last season in this final round of the match day. I mean, they averaged 3.55 goals per game in the final match day, as you said, because so many teams are playing for something. It's desperate times. It's the last game. It's all or nothing for most of these teams, and we're going to discuss quite a few of the games with the permutations are really extreme. Looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be really difficult to keep tabs of all the games that are going on, but just seeing the league table moving every 5 seconds, which you probably will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's sensory overload, especially considering some of the goals that we consider, some of the totals that are out there in terms of the market right now. Also, the home and away thing, like, it's being mitigated to a certain degree by the fact that the away goals rule isn't in play anymore either. I mean, we saw that in last year's competition. So plenty to play for. All the markets that we use are courtesy of Pinnacle, Bet Smart, Bet Pinnacle. I should also mention 2 Wheeler specials cashed in on our weekend domestic plays. Both teams have scored no over 2.5. Thank you, Atletico Madrid. Thank you, Barcelona. So I'm feeling good heading into this match day, Jake. So let's get down to it. I'm not sure how you want to slice and dice this, or how you want to approach the table. I've kind of gone on to kind of tier my games, ones that kind of matter to the teams, the principles involved, and what's at stake, and kind of creating my preference for what my best bets board will actually look like at the end of this. How are you approaching this final match day?
Well, I've got to be honest, that the main thing that I'm just focusing on is goals. I'm not going to get involved with any or too many teams to win or cover handicaps, because I just think that goals is the smarter play. Because, like I said, most of the games you've got two teams that kind of have to get a result, which generally leads to more open matches and more goals. So I'm definitely leaning towards goals, but I am focusing on the games that do have a lot at stake in terms of finishing the top 8, qualifying to the playoffs altogether, just leaning into that goals angle, because I think there's some very, very good lines. I mean, if you want to start, I think that Chelsea trip to Napoli is a good place to start, because Napoli are 25th in the league standings, so they're actually on the outside looking in. They have to get a result, more than likely going to have to get a win to have any chance of progressing, given that there's so many teams above them and so many teams below them, but a marginal goal difference that could overtake them. So that they're going to have to go for this. And Chelsea, they're on the inside looking out, basically. They're in the top 8 at the moment. They've got a queue of teams behind them: Chelsea, Barca, Sporting, City, Atletico, Atalanta, all level on points with Chelsea. Can all overtake them, even again with goal difference. So even if Chelsea probably going to need to win to get in the top 8, they might have to win handily as well.
I think they might have to win.
So I think they're going to have to win quite comfortably, really. I mean, I know PSG play Newcastle, which means one of those is going to drop points, or both, if they draw, which kind of opens the door a little bit. But either way, Chelsea are going to have to go to Naples, going to try and win. Napoli need to win. So I'm very surprised that we're getting a goal line at 2.5, and that is one of my better bets of the week. And it is already starting to move. So it was minus 114 a few hours ago. It's now into minus 119. I won't be surprised to see this line jump to 2 3/4, maybe even 3 by kickoff. And obviously the main context is the what's at stake. But Chelsea's away games have been high scoring anyway in this competition. 3 away games, over 2.5's gone in all 3, and they've averaged 3.7 goals per game.
Do you think there's value backing Chelsea outright based on the fact that they need to win? Napoli have been bad in this competition. We all know the history of Antonio Conte, and they're simply not fit. Like, Napoli are missing so many key players. Like, they struggled to a draw at Copenhagen when Copenhagen was down to 10 men last match day. They lost 3-0 on the weekend to Juventus. Like, their team has decimated some real key positions. They've ended up selling Noah Lang, also one of their few attacking players. So Elmas is playing like in an advanced role underneath Rasmus Højlund, who is a player that definitely needs the service. I know that Lukaku's now come back into the team, but he's nowhere near full fitness. I think this is a good time to back Chelsea. Some really good results in the Champions League, and they're creating chances. Like, they're the polar opposite to Napoli, Jake, in the fact that this Chelsea side does have a squad depth. Like, they have incredible squad. That's actually their strength. And I think that we're seeing teams that are a little bit deeper. It's paying off in spades. So you can get Chelsea on the handicap minus 1/4 goal. So if it ends up in a draw somehow, which I could at the end of the day suit Chelsea, I'm not so sure about Napoli. But that plays at plus 101. I just wouldn't, or just Chelsea win outright at plus 131. I wouldn't rule out either one of them just because Napoli's just in a dire state right now. It's just not a very good situation.
No, I definitely get where you're coming from, and obviously the market does agree that Chelsea are the better team. I just stay away personally, because Chelsea away from home in this competition, they've not won. They lost at Atalanta, lost at Bayern Munich, drew at Karabag. They weren't all that convincing. They haven't been all that convincing really under Rossini. I know that they beat Palace quite handily, but Palace were in dire straits. They only narrowly beat Paphos. They needed a late goal for that, and Brentford were the better team when they played at Stamford Bridge. So I just swerve Chelsea altogether, especially with the desperation factor of Napoli and the defensive vulnerabilities that Chelsea still have. So like I said, I think goals, it just takes all the stress out of the equation in terms of needing the teams like Chelsea get in front. Napoli are going to step on it and they could score, or Chelsea could on the counter attack. It doesn't really matter if you take the goal angle. So,
the Chelsea play is only my 6th favorite play. Number 6, so narrowly missing my board. So, but at this point, I'm going to differ from you a little bit. Yes, I like the goals, but I don't mind backing Chelsea in this one. Okay, what else? You're looking for goals this week. Where else are you looking?
I think the game in Bruges between Club Brugge and Marseille could be a good one for goals. So the line is a little bit higher for this one. You're getting a flat 3 at minus 105. I think it's a cracking bet. I mean, it's a big game for both. Draw is no good for either, really. Marseille 19th on 9 points. Bruges 27th on 8 points. So Bruges really have to win to have any chance. And Marseille, they're in a position where they could climb into that top half of the playoff bracket. But they're probably going to need to win to get in as well, and to secure their playoff spot no matter what. And generally, goals have just been flowing in Bruges matches. I mean, all 7 of their Champions League matches have hit 3 or more goals, and 6 of 7 Marseille matches have as well. So you sprinkle in the little bit of jeopardy, the fact that it is must win for both teams, and then I think the goals are just going to be really, really forthcoming here. And I'm surprised that, again, the line is where it is now, 3. I thought it'd be at 3 1/4 at least, so we've got a little bit of value there.
Yeah, same thing. Bruges at home are a very good side. They have plenty of attacking talent. Their goals total 2 or more in like virtually all of their home games through domestic play in the Champions League. I think they played Arsenal in this competition. I believe they were the only team that really gave them trouble in that spot. I think they scored 3 at home against Barcelona in a 3-3 draw as well. And Marseille, I mean, huge result on the weekend, by the way, beating along the top of the table side. But Aubameyang and Greenwood actually came off the bench in that game. De Zerbi has eyes for this one. So they're a team that just conceded 3 against Liverpool. I think they're better going forward than they are at the back. And Club Brugge, base 12 goals scored, 17 conceded in this competition. The XG numbers are pretty big as well. So that is part of my best bets. Over 3 at -105. Okay, and the game matters basically to both sides as well. Worth mentioning, especially to Club Brugge, who are 27th at present time. Okay, let's continue on the goal journey. Where else are we looking?
Bilbao versus Sporting. I think this could be quite a high-scoring one as well. Again, it's quite a big game for both. Bilbao, they are 23rd. They're in the top 24 on goal difference only. They probably need a win. Draw won't be enough given the amount of teams that are lined up behind them. Sporting Lisbon, they're in a great chance of securing a top 8 finish. I mean, the chances that a win here won't be good enough are very slim. I mean, they're currently 10th on 13 points. PSG or Newcastle are going to drop points, or both, and then a Sporting Lisbon win would probably be enough for them to get into the top 8. And it's a bit like a free hit, really, because they're near enough guaranteed to finish in the top 8 of that 9 to 24 bracket, which means they would have a second leg. So it's a free hit for them to go and try and get the victory and sneak into the top 8. And yeah, generally, again, Sporting have been very, very forthcoming with the goals in this competition. 6 of 7 have gone over 2.5. Away from home, 3.3 goals per game. So you factor in Bilbao, they are literally have to win. Sporting Lisbon, they don't have to win they're already secure of qualifying into some stage after this, but they're in a great chance to potentially sneak the top 8 and knock one of the big boys off there. I think this could be quite an end-to-end ding-dong battle.
Yeah, that would be quite the accomplishment. Who knew that teams could win without Ruben Amorim? But
got to get a little dig in there.
I had to. I couldn't resist. Swerving this one, I mean, the Athletic Club result last week in the Champions League kind of threw a spanner in it for me.
Big time.
Against Atalanta. I just don't fully trust anything about I'm just going to stay away entirely from this fixture. Okay, Jake, I'm just giving you the floor and just remarking after, then I'll fill in the gaps. Let's just go with that.
Atletico versus Bodo Glimt again. Goals. The line is a lot higher for this one, which you'll understand why in a second. But we're at 3.5 at -119. Again, I think it probably should be a quarter of a goal higher, this line. Again, you've got 2 teams. Atletico Madrid are 12th. They need to win to finish in the top 8, have any chance finishing the top 8. Goal difference could come down to that. So they will be going all out here to try and boost their goal difference. Bodo Glimt are 28th. After beating Manchester City. Only a win will give them a chance of finishing in the top 8. They won't be scared of trying to beat Atletico Madrid in their own backyard either. They've given a great account of themselves, really, against some of the really big teams across Europe. And then you look at the record. So Bodo Glimt have gone over 3.5 goals in 6 of 7 Champions League matches. Atletico Madrid have gone over 3.5 in 5 of 7. Atletico's games average 4.1 goals per match, and Bodo's at 3.7. So 2 teams that are already very goal happy, goal heavy, Atletico especially at home. And then you factor in the added context of Atletico likely needing to win and win big, Bodo needing to win to have any chance. And I think this could be a bit of a chaotic. I mean, I would be at all surprised if it was like a 5-3 or something stupid like that.
Yeah, not making my board, but point taken. Agree with your entire assessment. Let's keep the Jake train going. What else?
PSV versus Bayern, over 3.75 goals. So this is one of the highest lines. Arsenal Kairat Almaty is the highest line at 4.25. Bayern at PSV is the 3rd highest. I think we just have to take it because of PSV's games in general. So they're 22nd. They're in a similar spot. They're just inside. But again, with the amount of teams that are queuing up behind them to overtake them, they're probably going to have to go and get a win to secure that top 24 spot. Yeah, so it's going to be open. PSV games generally are quite open anyway. Bayern Munich love an open game where they can expand, play their expansive football, create a lot of chances. And as you mentioned, Dad, we were talking off air, weren't we? Bayern Munich had a big illness through the camp, which meant that they lost to Augsburg at the weekend. It'd be interesting to see whether they play the big hitters in this match day or not, because they're already guaranteed a top 4 spot, which is job done pretty much. So you factor in a potential rotation for Bayern Munich, and PSV could well rack up a few scores here. And at home, all 3 of PSG's matches have seen 4 or more goals, and they've averaged 5.7 goals per game at home in this competition. So I would be very surprised if this was a low scorer.
Multiple ways to slice this. This is one of the games I was looking at. First on Bayern Munich, they're so thin at fullback, and they're trying to reintegrate players into the team as well. Min-Jae Kim is suspended at center back. Upamecano has been out for a week through illness. Stanisic out, injured. Konrad Leimer with no real like-for-like replacement at the back. I guess it's Tom Bischoff, the 19-year-old, who's still very much a just it's going to be a little bit of a process for him. They played Alphonso Davies, the left back at right back last game, and it really didn't work. Davies wasn't the same player, and whether it was the loss to Augsburg on the weekend or how they've been playing as of late, like they're conceding goals to like not great teams. And this is a time, if I'm Vincent Kompany, I'm like, time to give Harry Kane a sit down. Jackson can come in and start. Rest and rotate. Like Joshua Kimmich hasn't been completely healthy. He's dealing with an ankle injury. Pavlovic is a brilliant player, probably can use a break. Like this is the time that the game doesn't really matter. They're playing in the Pokal. The Bundesliga matters. He has to start preserving some of these players. I think he's done a brilliant job rotating, but there are just so many injuries and illnesses that this is the time for me. Like we haven't heard from Kompany. He hasn't done his pre-match press conference, but it seems to be the time to rotate. And if you're PSV playing at home, this is a brilliant time to go on and secure your position in the next round of this competition. They're dealing with some injuries of their own, which makes me a little bit nervous. But the 2 bets that I prefer, the PSV team total of over a goal and a half at plus 144, because that Bayern Munich back line is going to look very different, I believe. Or PSV on the Asian handicap at plus half a goal at plus 140, which is a draw or win for the home side, goes out. And I think that's a big number. Again, this game doesn't mean anything for Bayern Munich. They're going to finish second, okay? Like Arsenal, even with rotation, aren't going to lose to Kairat Almaty at home. This game, they're just not. I think the second team for Arsenal can potentially do some damage. So let's back PSV here on either one, team total or Asian handicap in this one. I'm fine with either. So I just need to decide which one's going to make my board. Potentially both. We'll see. So similar approaches. At the time of taping, I would have loved to know what's going through Kompany's mind, but I think he'd be well within his right to just Olise, Kane, Diaz, just all take a break, come back, play Hamburg away on the weekend, and get back on track in the Bundesliga. That's the way I'd approach things, but hey, I'm not the manager of Bayern Munich. Anything to add, or do you want to just carry on?
No, I like the PSV to score 2 or more bet. Like I say, if I'm taking the total, it makes a lot of sense. And Bayern are making rotations. I think it could be a 2-2, 3-2 PSV sort of game. No, I do like that. Moving on. I want to look at Benfica Real Madrid because again, this is a big game for both. Benfica they need a win and a miracle pretty much to get in the top into the top 24. They're 29th. They've got a really poor goal difference, and they've got a lot of teams between them and the 24th spot. So they need a bit of Mourinho masterclass to get one over on his old team. Real Madrid.
Does that still happen? I think
it's not going to happen. Real Madrid also need a result to secure a top 8 spot because they are on 15 points. And as you mentioned at the top of the show, there's like 12 teams that are or 13 teams that are 13 points or more. So what's that? 1, 2. It's about 9 teams that could catch them and overtake them. I think there's been no rotation for Real Madrid. They are playing on vibes. They've got the swagger back under Alvaro Arbeloa, who does look very good on the touchline. I'll give him that at least. Yeah, I think Real Madrid to win at -135 is actually value. It might be a bit short for some, but I think it's really good value. Benfica haven't been very good in this competition, and they're in a position where they have to kind of have a go at Real Madrid, which is very un-Mourinho-like, and that's going to leave a lot of holes for Real Madrid and Kylian Mbappe, who's scored 11 goals already in this Champions League. I think Real Madrid to win at -135. Real Madrid winning overs. I wouldn't put anybody off backing that as well. Real Madrid to win and both teams to score. All those different kind of combinations. I could definitely see winning. It'd be a high scoring away win. The winning both teams to scores at +207. That probably would be my favourite. Outside of just a straight Real Madrid win for a bit of extra juice on the price, because I do think Benfica have got a few goals in them. But yeah, I'd be very surprised if Real Madrid didn't get the win in Portugal.
If Jake's predictions come true, the goal roundabout show, whether it be on Paramount or Golazzo, it's gonna be madness. It's gonna be goal, 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 crazy. It very well could be a busy day for the production crews of those shows. Okay, nothing for me there. But I do back Real Madrid to win that game. Just I haven't seen anything from Benfica in this competition that would give me any faith that they can go on and win this game. All right. Anything else?
Last one from me
Cavalcade continues.
Yeah, Dortmund versus Inter is the last one for me.
This one too?
Yeah. I'm taking the total. It's 2 3/4, -108. And yeah, you're looking at the standings. Inter are 14th, Dortmund are 16th. Dortmund 11 points, so they're 2 points off. They need a win and a lot to go right for them to finish in the top 8. Similar for Inter, really, given the amount between. They're basically playing for seeding, these two. They're playing to finish in that top 8 of the playoff. And yeah, I think this is just going to be one of those games where both teams are pretty much guaranteed in the top 24. Well, Inter definitely are. It's just going to be chaos, really. I think it's going to be really high scoring because there's not a lot at stake, which is generally keep your feet up and have a nice relaxed attacking game. And Dortmund have been mental for goals in this competition anyway, so they don't need any added incentive. But they're with the home tie to finish things off. They'll be looking to get the win to secure, like I said, that second leg at home, which I think could be quite important, especially when they're playing in front of the yellow wall. So, yeah, Dortmund's games, overs in 6 or 7, average 4.9 goals per game in this competition. Inter, they've been a little bit more goal-heavy recently in this competition, obviously at the weekend as well, where they played out a ridiculous game against
Even
Inter.
instead of, yeah, like the whole notion of Inter being a very good defensive team, that's what they rely on. Not this team. They're just completely different just in terms of the way that they play now. Like, this is a team that's regularly brought the goals, and they're going away to a team that their strength is in attack. They ship as many as they score. Dortmund's a really good home side. Like you say, they're mental in terms of the goals in this competition. Like at home, they're a little bit of a wagon in terms of the goals that they score, and they're vulnerable defensively. Just they're a prototypical good, not great Bundesliga side who are a little bit weak defensively, but have plenty of options going forward. This is the one goal total that surprises me the most for the week, that it's only 2 3/4. So yeah, over minus. What do you have it -108? Yeah, I'm backing that absolutely. One of my favorite plays over the course of the match week. I might as well run through the rest of my board, and the theme will continue with the goals in this one as well. Union Saint-Gilloise hosts Atalanta. Let's go on and back Atalanta to win, plus over 2.5 goals, and that comes in at a nice big old 219, plus 219. Union Saint-Gilloise, it's been the story of them in this competition. They create chances, but they simply can't defend. The game means something for Atalanta. They can go on and still finish in the top 8. Like, this game it's a must win for them, and it's a free hit. Like, they're on 13 points, but their goal differential is only +1. They're going to want to score goals, try to win, and try to step up to finish in that top 8. They're a team now that, Lookman's back from AFCON. They're really fit. They're tried, tested, and proven in this competition. I'm gonna push the last game against Athletic Club to the side. Like they were in good position to go win on that game. It completely capitulated in the second half, conceding 3, and that's being very un-Atalanta like. But I think they're going to score goals going away with it against a team that's very vulnerable defensively, and a team that needs to go out and try to score and win this game as well, and which could open up more things. It's the same theory. Those teams that are trying to qualify, trying to get into a playoffs, like Union Saint-Gilloise needs to be one-way traffic, especially playing at home, which I think will open up nicely for Atlanta. So, and that's a huge number, Jake, for Atalanta to win and over 2.5 at plus 219 might be my favorite play of the match day. I'll also back PSG taking on Newcastle, the exact same play. PSG win plus over 2.5 at plus 113. It's a way less of a number, but I think it's worthwhile to make that bet. Again, two sides, like PSG need to go on and win this. I mean, they can come away with a draw, but they're on level points with Newcastle. I don't think they want to get in a game of relying on other teams' results. So PSG won on the weekend, back on track. They have all their attacking talent back in the side. I think that Luis Enrique will demand a response after losing at Sporting 2-1 last time out. They had an early goal called back. I think the game could have really ended up in a different way if that early goal stood. It didn't. They're taking on a Newcastle side that this is the difference between them this year and last year. Last year, they didn't have midweek fixtures and games and multiple competitions to play in. I mean, they're having a real tough time with it, and they're nowhere near the side that they were last year. Lost at home on the weekend, going away to Aston Villa. Now they're in a side, like, they might be level on points, but they're not equal in terms of the way that they play. And I think there's going to be goals in this fixture. This is just the way that Newcastle play. PSG, yeah, to win over the goal total of 2.5 at plus 113. And I think that's it. I wanted to mention, I was thinking about making a play on Galatasaray. It's a big old um, handicap at +2. City at home to Galatasaray. They're still playing for something. Reminder, like no Mark Gahey, no Antoine Semenyo for these Champions League fixtures. And City at the back look as vulnerable as can be. So Galatasaray won a game at Liverpool, or beat Liverpool this year. I understand it was at home. They're a better home side than away. But 2 seems like a big spread for City, a team that's still, despite winning on the weekend 2-0 at home over Wolves with those players in tow, it still seems to be a big price to back City at home in this one. And same thing, Barcelona, Copenhagen, just looking for goals in that fixture, trying to figure out the best way to slice it. Both teams to score yes and over 2.5 at -105. Probably the best way about going to do that business. But -105, it's a play I don't mind, but not enough juice in it for me to make it a full official play here on this podcast. Anything else to add, or is that just about it, Jake?
That's it. Yeah. We get to the big board.
Let's go.
Yeah, I find it very difficult to whittle down the goal bets that I like, but I am going to do, because I like so many, I am going to do a big multiple. I'm going to do a big parlay. I'm going to get it on the big board as well. We're going to do half a unit on over 2.5 goals in. I've not decided whether I want to do 6 or 7, but it's going to be a big number. We're going to do over 2.5 goals in PSG Newcastle, Dortmund, Napoli Chelsea, PSV Bayern, Dortmund Inter, Bilbao Sporting, Atletico Bodo Glimt, and Club Brugge Marseille, and that comes in at plus 22.55. So I'm hoping they're going to be busy.
This is a potential game changer.
I'm hoping they're going to be busy on the goal show. So yeah, I'm gonna take that, and then I am going to do one unit on Napoli Chelsea over 2.5 at -119 as a single. I'm going to do a unit on over 2.75, over 3 goals, in Bruges Marseille at -105. I'm going to do a unit and a half on Real Madrid to win at -135. And I'm going to do a unit on Bilbao Sporting over 2.75 at +103. So that's, I think,
brilliant
in total.
our production team and the boards maker are going to be hard at work putting this together as well.
Trying to fit it
Look,
all on graphic.
I'm just about at +9 units for this Champions League show. Let's get it over 10, shall we? 1 unit plays across the board. Mine's going to be straightforward, so our production team will love me and be swearing at Jake as they go on and build it. Let's go PSV team total over 1.5 at +144. Come on, company, just rotate. Let's see how that works out. Atalanta to win plus over 2.5 at Union Saint-Gilloise at +219. Let's go PSG to win at over 2.5 goals at home against Newcastle at +113. Dortmund Inter over 2.75 of a goal at -108. And Club Brugge and Marseille over 3 goals at -105. A reminder, all the markets that we use are courtesy of Pinnacle. Bet smart, bet Pinnacle. Please subscribe, like this podcast. We're not done with the Champions League. We'll be carrying on throughout this competition. It's been brilliant. And Wednesday has the makings of being something special. Good luck and bring on the goals this week. No wonders. Let's go. Lots of goals on the regular come Monday afternoon and evening. On behalf of Jake, I am Wheels, and this has been episode 76 of Pinnacle FC.